Good morning, everybody. Ooh, I have to kick this dog out of my kitchen. I just came back from my morning walk and I picked some nice flowers. Lilacs are in season at the moment in France and the southern part valley. Get out of here, man. Get out. He hasn't eaten yet, so he's starved. Okay, so the reason I'm hopping on so early is because I had a sudden ping of, ooh, I must prepare this recipe now. Because two things happened this weekend. So number one is before yesterday night, we made a cheese fondue at home. So we've always wanted a fondue set, but when living in Dubai, it just never felt right to make cheese fondue because it's so hot over there, and to get the right cheeses and stuff is like, it doesn't feel natural. So when we got to France, so this year being our first kind of winter in France, we thought we need to get a cheese fondue set. And that's what we got for Christmas. So our in-laws got us a really nice cheese fondue set. And we, usually it's the sort of thing you would do as après-ski, is like, when you go skiing. But since there was no skiing because of confinement and restrictions and whatever, we didn't get to go skiing. So we kind of waited and waited before we did the cheese fondue. So we kind of did it before yesterday night. So mid-April cheese fondue. And that was really nice. And it was delicious. Now, the only thing with it is that I was left with lots of bread cubes. Okay, so I've got, let me measure. I never really properly measure with you guys here on YouTube, but let me just measure. I've got like a good 4 cups of bread cubes, okay? They're on the dry side, and they're a mix of like sourdough and kind of classic baguette. So I've got about like 2.5, 3 cups, okay? So like the equivalent of maybe a baguette like this, maybe a bit less than that, okay? So I've got these, and I've also got lots of leftover cheese. I've got about a cup worth of Comté and Emmental, all right? But you could use Gruyere or whatever for the recipe I'm about to make. So with that in mind, I thought, gosh, what am I gonna make with these things? I could make salad croutons with this because in my book, I had done this. I went a bit on a crouton craze while I was writing the book because I was testing different types of croutons to do with different types of salads. And I ended up like getting really addicted to croutons and overdosing on them on all our salads. So I thought, I'm not gonna do some more croutons. I'm croutoned out. So I'm going to do something that I wouldn't typically make because it's, it's more of a brunch thing, and it's more of you do it when there's lots of people thing. And it's not like super, super light, but it's quite delicious. And that's a strata. So my American friends probably already know what a strata is. The Europeans, maybe not. I don't know. I think it's more of an American thing, or I don't know. Anyway, so a strata is a great way to use some leftover bread cubes and a cheese, all right? Now, super simple. Because the other thing that happened this weekend is yesterday I made this amazing curry. It was like this tomato coconut. If you look at my Instagram story, you'll see. And in it, I threw in some spinach at the end, but I had thawed a lot of frozen spinach, so I still have all the spinach, right? So I've got a bowl here. I have like a cup of like cooked, drained, squeezed spinach. And then I thought, I need to do a strata. This is what I'm gonna do. So I'll show you. Strata is a great dish for brunch, but you could also do it for like dinner or like a weekend breakfast or whatever. And it's one of those that just needs a bit of planning, but it doesn't require much work. So let me show you. I'm going to make one for a smaller quantity of people because we're just 4. And I'm not even sure that my kids are going to be into the whole spinach egg thing. So here goes. What I do is I will take milk. So I have about a cup and a half of milk. I've got farm fresh eggs. So I'm gonna put 4 eggs in here. 1, 2, 3, there we go. I will also put some butter, okay? Some butter. What am I saying? Not at all. I'm not putting any butter. I'm gonna mix this up, and I'm gonna put mustard, because mustard adds a bit of kind of taste in it. And because I want it to be a bit springy and like a bit lighter, because strata is basically bread, this egg milk mixture, cheese, and then whatever you want to put it in. I mean, you could put mushrooms and bacon if you want, you know, like you can put whatever. I wanted to make a spinach one, but I think I'm also going to add some herbs, because I've got this leftover dill, because I bought tons of dill the other day, and I didn't use it all up. So I'm gonna take a bit of dill as well. That will give it a nice kind of spring touch. So I'm gonna mix this egg milk thing, and the mustard I'm gonna use is this tarragon mustard I have. Normally you would just use a regular mustard, but this tarragon mustard, we've got like loads of it, because we really, I don't know if you guys have ever tasted tarragon mustard, but here in France you find it here and there. You know, it's like that specialty kind of mustard, and I remember telling my in-laws that I really liked it because they had it at their house, and I was like, oh, this is so good. And my son loved it too. And so when I found some, I bought 2 bottles, and then when my mother-in-law found some, she bought 3 bottles, and so we have like 5 jars of this tarragon mustard. So I might as well use it. And because tarragon is, you know, such an ode to spring as well, that'll be really nice. So I've got the milk, the eggs. I'm gonna put some salt in here. I'm gonna put like maybe a teaspoon of salt, or a bit less than a teaspoon. And here's how this thing is going to work. I'm gonna chop up the dill, but you're gonna see this is super duper quick. And even if you don't have like leftover bread or whatever, I'm thinking this is a recipe that's, you know, okay, sure, it does have like dairy and eggs and cheese, so it's not the lightest diet thing, but whatever. If you put, I mean, unless you've got like an issue, like a dietary requirement where you can't eat dairy and eggs and whatever, you can totally put tons of vegetables in here, and it can be really nice. And there is gluten because of the bread, but you could use gluten-free bread, and it's fine. And you don't have to put a ton of bread, because this is more, it's like a custardy kind of dish, and the bread is there just to soak up a bit of that custard, but you don't need to put tons of it. So you can actually make this a really nice, light, bright, fresh recipe if you wanted to. You don't have to go the bacon, mushroom kind of Italian sausage route. You know what I mean? So here I've got this dish. This is not like my usual big lasagna dish. See, it's as wide as my chest. So it's not as big as I would use if I was using, like if I was making it for like 6 to 8 people, I would use my proper lasagna dish. In this case, you know, we're 4. So I'm going to spread the croutons at the bottom. So these are a bit harder than what I would like them to be, actually, because it shouldn't be croutons. You could technically just get bread, cube it up, and let it, you know, sit in the air for like whatever, a couple of hours, and it should be fine, because this bread needs to soak up all of this custard mixture. So if it's too dry, it might take a while. You might argue that we are going to give it a while, but anyway. So I'm going to sprinkle some of this dill. I'm going to put this lovely spinach I've got. Oh, by the way, yesterday's curry was so good. I will definitely include it in the next kind of meal plan book or whatever that I put out, because it's such a great recipe. It was done in like 30 minutes, and it was like nice. It was really nice, and it was a change from the usual kind of curry, because it was I used tomato. It's like a tomato coconut curry, and to which I added chickpeas and spinach, and it was just like super, super good. Okay, so I put half of the spinach, half of the dill, half of the croutons. Now the cheese, so I'm just gonna grate it kind of like this in front of you. You need about, like I would say almost a cup. You could put more, you can put less. In this case, I've got like the typical fondue cheese, like Comté, Emmental, Gruyere is also really nice. I'm gonna put a bit of pepper, because I love pepper. You could even put a touch of like cayenne pepper in here, might be good. And then we're gonna do another layer of these breadcrumbs, not breadcrumbs, you know what I mean, the bread cubes. There, a bit of this dill. So this is like you can do 2-3 layers depending on what you've got, you know. There, but you don't want to put more layers, or you know, like then you have custard, right? Like, because this custard's got to like get soaked into all the bread and everything, so you want to make sure that you've got a good balance there and that you don't get dried bread at the top. There we go. I might add a little bit more salt, although I have to be kind of careful with the salt because the cheese is salty as well, right? Depending on the cheese you're using. And you know, you could also use like, because there's a lot of greens in here, you could totally put in some goat cheese, I'm thinking would be really nice. You can put any vegetables you want to. You could put asparagus. I know that because it's been asparagus season around here and I like asparagus, and because you don't get it all year long, I froze a lot of it. I blanch it and then I cut it up and freeze it right away, so that I can have some all year long. So asparagus could be quite nice in here. So there you go. Just a mix of these cheeses again. You could, I mean, if you're making it for brunch, I'm thinking you could also put like smoked salmon or, you know, something like that. That's quite Christmas brunch, you know, I find smoked salmon. But yeah, this is a great brunch recipe. And like I said, this is a good dinner one too. So what happens is this soaks for many, many hours, which is why I wanted to get it done now, so that we can either eat it tonight or I can pop it in the oven tomorrow for lunch. So there you go. A little bit more of this. My husband's gonna love this because there's a lot of dill and he loves dill. Okay, there we go. A little bit more cheese. And there we have it. Like, you really could go, oh, you could put like leftover ratatouille in this instead of making it green. Like, you could do anything. You know, you can probably, I was gonna say you can veganize it and like put coconut milk, but then I don't know, with the eggs, I'm not sure. I don't know if a flax eggs would work. And then there would be the cheese issue, and then you'd have to replace it with cashew cheese. I don't know. I'm not gonna guarantee results with that, but here I think it will be delicious. So what I do is I pour this egg mixture on top and make sure to cover everything really well, because you don't want like dry bread anywhere, right? Like at all. Like if you're gonna have it, it's gonna be at the top just a little bit to have it a bit toasty, but you know, the idea is really to have it kind of like, has to have that French toasty kind of feel. But you don't want too much bread because then it becomes like this bad stuffing recipe, you know what I mean? So there you go, and it's so pretty. Look at this. Look at that. Isn't that like so pretty? And you could put fresh peas, you could put leftover kind of little broccolis, or, you know, little broccoli florets you've got. You could put, you know, cauliflower. Like, there's so much you can do with this. So this, I'm going to cover, and I'm going to leave it either until tonight and make it for dinner, or until tomorrow. You can totally leave this like between 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours minimum, to overnight, and it's fine. So you then have to take this the next day or whenever you're ready to make it and put it in a 200-degree oven. So I do like 175, 200 Celsius oven for about 50 minutes or so. Could be like 45 minutes, it could be 55 minutes, depending on the size of your dish and the quantities. And yeah, and then it's gonna get all bubbly and golden and delicious and crispy on top. And then you can take it out, let it cool for a bit, and serve. So there you have it. That's my quick recipe for today. If you've got any questions, let me know. If you want more inspiration, go to wellmama, WELLMAMMA.com for for more inspiration and recipe ideas and so on. And please, if you did like this video, do share it and like it, leave your comments, and I will speak to you soon with more recipes. Bye.